Hey, what's going on, guys? Aaron here. Welcome to the video. So we saw a pretty good day for crypto, even though we saw a Moody's downgrade and stocks didn't really seem to care, right? So Moody's downgraded the US's credit rating and, the stocks didn't really care. This right here is going to be the S&P. We are up just a little bit today. We saw this insane run over the last couple days. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we, went down a little bit to 102 not too long ago. Then we went up to 107. So there is a lot of volatility here. I'll get to that in just a moment. Before I get to this and other stories talking about Coinbase and also what I think is pretty big news why the market went up today, basically some negotiations between Russia and the Ukraine. I first want to mention that Gemini, and this is not a sponsored video, but they just announced this cool way to win Cybertrucks. So if you don't have a Gemini account, I actually have the Gemini card right here, and I've been using it for a while. If you are not a Gemini member, you're going to get $75 in Bitcoin or whatever crypto you want, I believe, once you trade $100 in your first 30 days. So not bad if you're not a Gemini member, and then you can participate and try to win a Cybertruck, which would be awesome. So right here, this is me doing some buys with my Gemini credit card, and 1 to 4% depending on what you're buying. I'll make an entire video about that in the future, but I just want to leave a link for Gemini below, and especially because they just announced this whole Cybertruck competition. All right, so for the day, crypto is more or less down, right? It's kind of been a down day. For the week, still a down week, but for the month, we're still up a ton. So taking a look here really quick at the prices, let me refresh this. You can see Bitcoin still hovering around 105, but just a ton of volatility going up and down $5,000 all the time. Just be very, very careful if you are playing with high leverage because you can get wiped out very easily in one of these wicks. In a day, we've been going from 106 down to 100, like $6,000 wicks, $6,000 days. Today was even crazier, 107 down to 102, right? Just crazy, crazy volatility. If you are a trader and you want to pick up a new bonus, you can totally do so using my link with BTCC, where they're offering a 10% bonus on first-time deposits. Just be very careful because with Bitcoin, we are still seeing just quite a lot of volatility, right? We're seeing a lot of volatility, a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of leveraged traders are getting totally wiped out. So taking a look right here, let's talk about Coinbase. So a couple days ago, I made a video on the Coinbase leak. They leaked a lot of people's personal info, and now we're getting some stories here. So a 67-year-old LA resident lost his stash of over $2 million to a scammer posing as a Coinbase support rep. We are now seeing the DOJ get involved in this data theft, as what they're calling it. And I want to mention right here, Michael Arrington on Twitter said that he's a big supporter of Coinbase, but something has to be said, which includes home addresses and account balances will lead to people dying. It probably already has. Now, if you don't know who Michael Arrington is, he's the founder of TechCrunch, Crunchbase, and he's a hedge fund investor, Arrington Capital. The human cost denominated in misery is much larger than the $400 million or so Coinbase thinks it will actually cost the company to reimburse people. And he says that Coinbase using the cheapest option for customer service, there's a price to that, all right? Because the whole idea is that you got people overseas that were essentially bribed and paid to give over customer data. And Coinbase is saying they're doing better, but when you are, again, getting, cheap labor, cheap customer service reps, you're going to run into this. And Michael Arrington is not wrong in this. So again, the DOJ is opening a probe into the recent breach. I've been getting really silly texts from Coinbase like this, where it's like, unauthorized Coinbase password change, call now. And I'm like, guys, do better, guys. So these are going to be the most obvious scams, right? You get a text like this, but then you're going to get a lot more complex scams, especially if somebody knows that you had millions of dollars on Coinbase and they know your address. That's a huge, huge deal. And that's what Michael Arrington is talking about. And let me talk about what Donald Trump said today. If you like him or hate him, doesn't matter. This is just world news. So just completed my 2-hour call with Putin. He says it went very well. Russia and the Ukraine will immediately start negotiations towards a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. So I think that contributed to the increase in the S&P. There's also been some bullish news I posted on my X. Follow me there if you're not already. Essentially, Scott Bessent said that America does not want to decouple from China. So there's a video there of him saying that. So, people interpret that as very, very bullish news. Here we're seeing sovereign nations are front running the US on Bitcoin. They want in before America starts buying. And I want to finish this short video with this. So I talk a lot about Bitcoin dominance and what that means and all that kind of stuff. Well, today we saw Bitcoin dominance go up a little bit, and we saw altcoins more or less have a challenging day today. But what I want to remind you guys of is this. So Bitcoin dominance can go down, meaning the market share of the entire crypto market can go down in terms of Bitcoin, as we can see right here. So this is going to be the beginning of 2021 to around May of 21. We saw a massive decline in Bitcoin dominance, yet we still saw the price of Bitcoin go from around 27,000 to 57,000. And during this time of Bitcoin dominance going down right here, we saw altcoins go to the moon. So there is a reality where Bitcoin dominance goes down, which means it's more advantageous to hold altcoins, and everything is going up in terms of US dollar value. And that's what I hope happens. That's what I think will happen once the economy shifts, once quantitative tightening ends, and once the global liquidity increases, and once the market realizes that the global liquidity is increasing and probably reducing interest rates as well. So that's a reality that I think will happen, guys. And I just want to end there. So again, BTCC below. Also, if you want to join me in Bitcoin Vegas in a week, I will be there. Link below for that. And finally, if you want to grab a Gemini credit card and start stacking crypto every time you make a purchase, you can do so, or you can grab $75 for free if you sign up, and then you trade $100 in your first 30 days. Hope you guys are doing well. Till next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.